California lawmakers are ramping up law enforcement at ports of entry in a new push to crack down on drug smuggling. Governor Gavin Newsom nearly doubled the number of National Guard members this month. The move comes as the state works to stop the flow of fentanyl into the country. This year alone, the California National Guard has seized more than 5.8 million fentanyl pills. And we know how deadly it is, right? Nearly 400 guardsmen are at the border now working to find and seize this deadly drug before it spreads into California's communities and beyond. Joining me now to talk more about it, California Democratic Congressman John Garamendi. Welcome back, and thanks as always for being here. Is this new initiative enough to stop the flow of this deadly drug across the border?
Let's just say it's a very good step forward. Is it going to be enough? Probably not. We do know that most of the fentanyl arrives through the points of entry. You just showed one point of entry, the Otay Mesa point of entry in San Diego. So these troops are going to be helpful. They'll be able to do more surveillance. They'll be able to check more cars, more immigrants coming in and out. Actually, most of the fentanyl appears to be coming into the United States by Americans, not by immigrants who are trying to cross the border legally or illegally. So nonetheless, this is going to be a very, very important part of the solution. Also, it's unfortunate that the immigration bill that was put together in the Senate, a bipartisan immigration bill that would have added a few thousand personnel to border security, did not pass. Trump torpedoed that nearly 9 months ago. We need to do all of these things. We have to take steps, and that means personnel at the border. If that's National Guard, good.
A step in the right direction. You know, I was looking at the staggering numbers, Congressman. California has seen a 1,000% increase in fentanyl seizures since 2021. When you look at the root of this problem, what would you attribute driving this increase?
Well, two things. First of all, drug addiction within the United States. Fentanyl is a substitute for heroin and other opioids. So that's the one piece of the problem. The second part of the problem is that this is a very, very big business. There are mega bucks to be made in the drug trade. And so whether it's in the United States or in Mexico or in China, there's a lot of money that flows into this system and therefore provides the impetus for the drug trade to take place. We need to, and we're fortunate, going to have a new president in Mexico. That new president hopefully will be very willing to work with the United States to go after the cartels that are producing and bringing those drugs into the United States. Now, once again, let's keep in mind that the statistics indicate that most of these drugs get into the United States at the port of entries, airplanes, ships, and most often, Americans that are bringing the drugs into the United States. And a certain percentage of it does come through the illegal immigrants that are crossing the border. All of these things depend upon the very close cooperation of the United States, in this case, California National Guard and California police entities, working carefully and diligently with Mexico. And hopefully the new president of Mexico will take a very strong action against the cartels that are operating in her country.
I know it takes a multifaceted approach to attack this deadly problem. You know, from where you sit, Congressman, I know you've met with constituents in your district, and you can paint a very vivid picture of the life lost and the tragedy that this drug has caused. What sticks with you most of the people you've talked to who have been directly impacted by the fentanyl epidemic?
Well, I believe we're over 6,000 fentanyl deaths in California in just less than half a year. It really affects families. This is not just the poor living in the poor parts of town. This fentanyl crisis goes across every ethnic, every economic group in the United States and certainly in California. And so it's everywhere. One of the things we need to do is to really increase the awareness that these fentanyl drugs are readily available.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.